I don't know if it's worth it, but one thing that comes to mind as you're talking is, by my being here, you and I often talk together about a given student, or
Yeah.
I mean, because I'm here, we're allowed to sort of.
So can I talk about having the literacy volunteer coordinator?
Yeah.
Should I say Denise or say the
You
coordinator?
can say Denise, the
Okay.
coordinator, and I often talk about a specific student and their needs, and because Literacy Volunteers is here in-house, we're able to kind of, work very closely on.
We create a learning plan.
We create a learning, we can adapt and
Yeah.
fine tune and create a specific learning plan that's, meets the needs of a student.
I mean, example would be Stacy. That would be a really good example.
Stacy is a great story, and we haven't gotten her in here yet, but
Yeah. I could.
Yes, what story would you tell about her?
I think I would tell the story about somebody who couldn't get to adult ed.
That's a great story. And that you suggested she come here during the daytime because she couldn't get to Mount View at night.
At night.
Then it took us about a year to figure out how to get her free transportation here. And then once she started taking classes here,
She
she
achieved her high
moved
school
into
diploma.
Belfast and she got her diploma.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
that's a good story, isn't
That
it?
is a good
and we
story.
have a photo of her we could pull up on the screen at that
Yes.
time. So
She okay
And that
with
was
it?
because you and I talked.
right. It's because you and I was coming to you like, I have this student who's being tutored, I don't know how to help, and then you suggested a solution.
Mm-hmm.
Good one.
Okay.
You gonna go with it?
Yeah, I'll go with it.
Go ahead.
Another perfect example of how this relationship has improved, having literacy volunteers as part of the adult ed program, is that Denise, the literacy volunteer coordinator, and I and other staff have an opportunity to talk to each other and advise each other on how to help various students. A perfect example would be a couple years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, Denise had a student who lived way out in Troy. She had a literacy volunteer tutor who was very dedicated and had been working with her, but she really needed to she needed to achieve her high school credential. She did not have transportation. So Denise and I talked about how could we help Stacy, and it took about a year to figure out how to get Stacy to Belfast. She couldn't work with the adult ed that was closer to her because they have a mainly evening program and she couldn't get there. So when we were finally able to tap into the resources to get her to our learning center and assess her, we found out that she really didn't need that many credits. So she was able to achieve her high school diploma by finishing up with the classes that she needed, and last June she was at our graduation ceremony, and she, in the meantime, at some point she managed to move into Belfast so that she was closer and she could ride her bike right to the learning center. And she's in love with learning, so even though she achieved one goal of her high school diploma, up until recently she had been still coming back to adult ed because she enjoyed math and she was taking various math classes just to improve her skills and because she enjoyed it. All of that would not have taken place if we were housed in 2 different locations. It was because we could just walk into each other's office and say, how do we help the student? And it took a lot of effort, and it takes a team and a relationship, and that is hard to have if you're not right together with each other, popping in and out of each other's offices, and that's what happens at adult ed. We help people move forward, and helping people move forward has a lot more to do with relationships and problem solving, because many people are very capable, but they just can't get where they need to be to take the classes.
Good.
Is that okay?
Yeah.